Hey guys, welcome to Culture Shock. Today's episode is about cartoons. I don't know shit about cartoons. So here's Brent.
All right, yeah, we have a guest host today, Brent Triplett, who is the noob on Battlefield Friends, Neebs on Duralius, and a whole slew of other characters. And we got this question from Nick Hull.
Nick Hull
232. Talk about what inspires you to make cartoons. So that's why Anthony wanted you to come in here.
What inspires me to make cartoons?
Yeah.
That's a question for both of us, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay. What inspires you?
Usually just I'll think of something and it'll make me laugh. Like something like Santa's Last Stop. That was just me hanging out around the house one day, and I just had this idea of like, yeah, what if Santa called somebody a cocksucker? That'd be funny. The more I thought about it, it just made me like, I'm just sitting at my house giggling like a little schoolgirl to myself, and I say, that's funny enough to make a cartoon about. But that's how I get inspiration, just random thoughts.
Is that the only way?
No, it's not the only way. Sometimes it'll be a situation we run into. I mean, obviously we do Battlefield Friends, and you know, that whole series, inspiration comes from that, from just playing the game. And then something stupid will happen in the game and we go, oh, that's an episode.
Those are both good answers.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, for me it's the same. Sometimes it's think of an idea I think's funny, and the great thing about animation is you can tell a story that's really hard to film. So if it's something ridiculous, you can draw it. Sometimes it's also fun just to turn the mics on and see what happens.
Yeah, the improv factor.
A lot of times we have something in mind, but like Cornbread Samurai, when Brian and I did that, I don't think we knew what we were going to do. Mics came on, and...
So you didn't even, like, I wasn't with you guys when you guys started doing that one. So you had no idea of that Cornbread Samurai character?
I don't think so.
So you just started talking in that Cornbread Samurai voice?
Yeah, I think we just, because we were just like, let's make something. We want to make something. And mics went on. I'm sure we said a bunch of shit that wasn't funny. And then we landed on that, and we thought, this is hilarious. Just hearing this makes me laugh, so I'm going to animate this.
Right.
And back then, I didn't know how to animate, and probably still don't today, if that's what you're going to say. But
I was going there.
But I did that in Final Cut.
You told me that, which made me shake my head when I met you.
Way wrong in many ways.
Like, what we do already is wrong, and then Final Cut's like doubly wrong.
Yeah, that's not made for animation at all. But, you know, part of what inspired me to animate in the first place was shooting things.
Is expensive?
Yeah, but it depends. Sometimes it's more expensive to animate, I think. If you just had a conversation between two people, it's easier to shoot because you can set a camera up and two actors. The actors do their own blinking, their own mouth movements, their own body movements. But if I want to animate two people just talking, now I've got to make them blink, make their eyes jump around, do their eyebrows, do their mouth, do their head movements.
Everything, yeah.
But if I wanted to shoot a gladiator fight in, you know, ancient times in a stadium full of people with lions and whatever, animating's easier.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. It has its advantages, and that's why I lean to it, because I went to Cape Fear Community College here in town. We live in Wilmington, North Carolina, and yeah, I learned kind of how you make a film as far as shooting, sound, and all that. And you quickly realize, all right, to gather a team like that together, you know, you need a sound mixer, you need a camera guy, you need actors, you need all these people to come together in order to make the final product. And the beauty with animation to me was I could make this one thing by myself. I could write a script, I could voice it, I could draw it, I could do everything, and it still turn out the way I want. So yeah, I was drawn to animation because it was a way for me to do something with not having to ask all my friends to come out and work for free. Because at that time, it was like, you know, I had no way to pay anybody. I still don't. I'm still broke as shit.
But it's a lot of work. I mean, anyone can do it if you learn it, but it really is a lot of work. A lot of comments we get lead me to believe people don't understand how much work it is. And
no shit.
It's not really rocket science, but it does take some figuring out, and then once you do, it's just a lot of hours, like just hours and hours of making someone's face look remotely like it's alive and like it has emotions. And
yeah, I know. Like on this last season of Battlefield Friends, we got down to the wire on that one. How many hours did you pull on that last week in order to get it done, do you think?
Probably worked 90 hours.
Yeah, see.
On the last episode.
So you guys with your 40-hour-a-week jobs.
And 90,
congratulations.
And 90 hours for me is still like first episode or first season of Duralius. I was working 110 sometimes.
Yep.
So 90 was like, I can still I can still eat dinner at the table and then run back to the office and work. So,
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. People don't realize it. You know, yeah, we got some crazy comments.
Someone said all you got to do, you talking about,
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. What was that one?
it was
Yeah,
like,
you know what I'm
all
thinking
you
about.
need is a game capture card and a computer. Why does it cost that much to animate? So that's not
Program,
true.
computer maintenance. Yeah, I mean, it all adds up, guys. You know, it really does. It
Yeah,
adds up.
really, the materials can be expensive, and the equipment can be expensive, but it's just the sheer massive amount of hours it takes to animate every. You know, you do have, we are tweening, so we are, you know, your arm can move from here to there, but every eye blink, every mouth position, that's got to be put in, and that's what takes so long.
Mm-hmm. All the little details. I feel, and you know, I shouldn't be considered a good animator in any regards, you know, compared to some of these frame by frame guys. But I feel, at least in our animation, the most important thing is the face. And recently, I've been trying to put a lot of effort into like eye movement, eyebrows, things like that, to make the face as expressive as it can be, because that's what I feel the audience's eye is on.
I think the face is very important, and we could animate better if we had the time and money, I think. But I think what I like about our show, and I think a lot of people like about our show, is just that we're able to put out, you know, more than one episode of Drowless. We're able to put out 36, and
Right.
now our next season, so we can actually focus a little more on the story than just, you know, does this look like Disney or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah. If we were frame by frame, it would look awesome, but it would take us 10 times the amount of time and money to do. So yeah, there's that balance you have to kind of try to figure out, I feel. Of like, you know, yeah, we want this to look as good as it possibly can, but at the same time, we don't want to like blow our entire budget on one episode.
But we're getting better. Like
Yeah, we're
look
getting
at-
faster. Yeah, big time.
You look at John's one of your first series, Apocalypse Lane, and
Oh my God, yeah, nothing moves.
yeah, that drove me crazy. Like it never bothered John in the beginning, but it made me crazy.
It bothers me now, but
The characters are bouncing like this, and you can see their feet. And, I guess South Park does that, I think. But
South
Still
Park
bothers
early
me.
season did that.
Yeah.
Which for South Park, it was a little less obvious because their characters are kind of so compact
Yeah.
and small. So, you know, they kind of bob around. It kind of feels a little better. And then, yeah, watching a character like Steve from Apocalypse Lane, who's very tall, kind of bob around. Yeah, it's just, it is odd to look at.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, I was like, shit, I got to get one episode of this done in a week. I just got to go as fast as I possibly can.
So if you look at that, look where we are today. We are improving, but I think we probably do have limits. We can only do so much with the way we do things.
Yeah.
But,
And I feel like I have ideas to improve our stuff.
okay.
You know, a couple things like, you know, making the face a little bit more 3D, things like that. So yeah, there is definitely
Crazy.
room for improvement, and you know, we're always striving to find ways to do what we do a little better. But you know, like anything, it just takes some you know, R&D time, research and development. We got to sit down and figure out, okay, how do we make this better, and then we got to do it, and we got to tell the computer how to do it, and that takes time. Meh.
It does.
Meh. All right, that was today's episode of Culture Shock on how we do animations. Thanks for joining us, Brent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you want to do the leave a comment thing?
I will do the leave a comment thing
Make it sexy.
and subscribe.
Yeah, finger that subscribe button.